10-year-old boy buys a sick horse at auction. What happens next will amaze you. In a small town in the heart of Texas, where the sun sets in a blaze of orange and gold, lived a 10-year-old boy named Jake. With his straw hat flopping on his head and dirt-streaked jeans that had seen a summer's worth of adventure, Jake was a typical boy with one extraordinary dream: to have a horse of his own. On a warm Saturday morning, Jake's heart raced in excitement as he and his father drove to the local horse auction. The air was filled with the scent of hay and the distant sound of neighing. Farmers and families mingled, their laughter and chatter buzzing around the large barn that housed the horses. Jake could hardly contain his enthusiasm. He had saved his allowance for months, dreaming of the perfect horse. But as the auction commenced, Jake's eyes were drawn to a different animal, a sickly horse named Star. Star was a chestnut mare with a sad gaze and a coat that was dull and matted. Her ribs showed through her skin, and she was trembling slightly against the cold night air. Jake's heart sank at the sight. Most people steered clear of her, whispering about how she would never make a good riding horse. Yet, something about Star called out to him. Compelled by a mix of compassion and a flicker of hope, Jake whispered to himself, "What if I could help her?" He remembered his grandmother's words, "A heart that cares can heal the most broken things." Jake's eyes darted back to his father, who was busy chatting with a neighbor. Gathering his courage, Jake approached the auctioneer when Star was finally led into the spotlight. The auctioneer raised his gavel and began the bidding. "Who will start the bidding for this fine mare?" he called out. Jake's hand shot up before he even realized what he was doing. $10, he shouted, his heart pounding in his chest. The crowd turned to look at him, many chuckling softly, but Jake held his ground. "To the young boy at $10. Do I hear 15? The auctioneer continued. After a few moments of silence, a burly man in a leather jacket offered 20. Jake felt disappointment wash over him, but he didn't give up. 25, he yelled, surprising everyone, including himself. The bidding continued, and after a nail-biting back and forth, Jake's determination won out. $40, he called, nearly trembling with excitement. To his astonishment, the auctioneer brought down the gavel. Sold to the young man for $40. Jake couldn't believe it. He had done it. With a mix of joy and nervousness, he approached Star. "Hi there, girl," he whispered, reaching out to stroke her thin neck. She leaned into his touch, and Jake felt a spark of hope. They took Star home, where Jake's mother greeted them with concern. "Are you sure about this, Jake?" "She looks pretty sick," she said, her brow furrowed with worry. "I want to help her, Mom. I think we can get her better," Jake replied, determination shining in his bright blue eyes. Over the next few weeks, Jake poured his heart and soul into caring for Star. He spent countless hours cleaning her stable, feeding her fresh hay, and gently brushing her coat. Every day was a new challenge, but Jake was relentless. He learned about horse nutrition, called local vets, and studied healing remedies for sick horses. Slowly, day by day, Star began to improve. Her coat glistened as the dirt washed away, and her spirit started to shine through. Jake even noticed her playful side when she would prance around the yard, kicking up her hooves with newfound energy. One crisp morning, Jake decided it was time to see if Star could ride. He had watched countless videos and read books on horse training. With a bit of nervousness and excitement, he saddled her up. As he mounted, Jake felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. "Okay, girl, let's see what you can do," he whispered, and with a gentle nudge, they were off. To his amazement, Star moved gracefully beneath him, her hooves thudding softly against the earth. Jake rode along the fields, the wind rushing past them. He could hardly believe it. She was no longer the weak, sickly horse he had rescued. Word of Jake's determination and success spread through the community. Neighbors began to take notice of the boy and his horse. One Saturday, Mrs. Thompson from down the road brought over a box of horse supplies. "I heard about your horse, Jake. I thought you might need some extra blankets and brushes," she said with a warm smile. Soon, others joined in. Local farmers offered hay and grain, and the community began to rally behind the boy and his project. Even a nearby vet volunteered to check on Star, impressed by their progress. Jake felt a swell of pride. With each passing day, not only was Star recovering, but their bond strengthened. He often whispered secrets to her as they grazed in the field, and she seemed to understand every word. As spring approached, the town hosted its annual rodeo. It was a festive celebration, filled with laughter, food, and competitions. Jake decided that Star should be part of it. With the support of the community, he entered the rodeo's Best Rescued Horse category, half excited and half nervous. On the day of the rodeo, the grandstands were filled with people cheering for their favorites. Jake's heart raced as he and Star stepped into the arena. The moment they entered, the crowd fell silent, their eyes glued to the once-sick mare and the determined boy. Jake took a deep breath, remembering how far they had come. As he guided Star through the obstacle course, he felt a sense of unity with her. They moved as one, swiftly and gracefully. The crowd erupted in cheers as they completed the course with a flourish. When the results were announced, Jake could hardly breathe. And the winner of the Best Rescued Horse goes to Jake and Star! The crowd exploded with applause. Jake leaped off Star, his joy unstoppable. He hugged her neck, whispering, "We did it, girl. We did it." From that day on, Jake and Star became local legends. The boy who saved a sick horse had shown everyone the power of love and determination. They went on many adventures together, exploring the fields, participating in local competitions, and even visiting schools to inspire other kids to care for animals. Years later, as Jake grew older, he looked back on that fateful auction day with a fond smile. Star was still by his side, her coat shining with health and happiness. They had built a life together, each adventure only strengthening their bond. Jake learned that not only had he saved a horse, but Star had saved him too. In that small town in Texas, they became a symbol of hope, proving that sometimes, when you follow your heart, amazing things can happen. And so, the story of the 10-year-old boy who bought a sick horse at auction became a tale told and retold, inspiring many to see beyond the surface and to believe in the incredible power of compassion and love. In the end, what happened next was truly amazing, not just for Jake and Star, but for everyone who witnessed their journey. The boy and his horse had shown the world that together, they could overcome any challenge, and that every life, no matter how broken, is worth saving.